Welcome to our executive video interview series at the 2025 Zero Trust Summit here at the Spy Museum, presented by CyberScoop. I'm Wyatt Cash, and we're here with Bryan Rosensteel, Head of Public Sector Product Marketing at Wiz. Bryan, thank you so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So one of the things I'd like to learn from you is what do you see as some of the biggest operational challenges that most government agencies are still facing in establishing a zero trust environment?
You know, it's interesting. In many ways, we've had incredible advancements over the several years that Zero Trust has been around. It's starting to get a little bit older. It's not as new as it used to be, but we're still facing some of the same fundamental challenges we had back when Zero Trust got implemented. And it's probably multiple reasons for it, but the reality is what I've seen, and I'll give an example. Last week, I was at an event and I was talking or heard a government individual talking about AI. And they were talking about, well, how do you think AI is going to impact Zero Trust? And they said, I really hope AI helps us to be able to understand what's going on across all the pillars in Zero Trust. And immediately, that was a flag for me because, and it's no fault, I think, of any one agency, it's just the way things have gone. People have said, okay, I know I need to do identity, I know I need to do networking, I know I need to do data. And so they focused on, okay, where do I have a gap? Let me get a solution, let me fill the gap. And the pillars of Zero Trust became the silos of Zero Trust. And a lot of these organizations kind of forgot, within the CISA model for civilian, that all of the pillars sat upon three foundational steps. And those foundational steps were important because they were cross-functional. They were supposed to give you that unification across, whether it was identity, whether it was devices, whether it was applications, whether it was data, right? Being able to have a cross-functional view of visibility and analytics and automation and orchestration and governance together. And so that, I think, is an area that as a collective, we just haven't embraced fully. Being able to have strong core visibility and context. And that means not just I can give you an inventory list of everything that's deployed, but that I know how everything connects together so that very quickly I can say, okay, I see that there's a new 0 day. What is the potential impact to my CIA, the confidentiality, integrity, availability, across my entire environment? That should be something that you can answer within minutes, not something that's going to take you kind of a long exercise and a sprint to be able to answer. So yeah, I think that's fundamentally where we're still struggling. And the good news is there are ways to fix that. It just takes, I think, a slightly different approach than what we've done, less gap analysis, buy a tool, fill the gap, and more, do we have the foundation set so that when a new and emerging technology comes out, are we able to quickly embrace that technology, but do so from that lens of security that we always need to be doing things from?
Those are some great points. And then second, where are you seeing signs that AI, and you mentioned it just briefly, but other advances in 6G wireless communications, which is on the horizon, and new cloud-based security platforms, how will that help accelerate agency efforts in establishing, a truly functional zero trust environment?
And so I think it actually can help us to go back and get the fundamentals correct. I think the government official who was talking about, I hope AI can help us to branch across, fundamentally is correct. AI can help automate and collect information in and then understand how things are connected. And we've embraced a lot of that from Wiz. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't say one of those new technologies is really the rise of a cloud native application protection platform. That really is designed, all the different point solutions we were using before, vulnerability scanner, malware scanner, secrets detections, et cetera. Having that all integrated together where I can go to a dashboard and I can drill into information, making that then available cross-functionally across different teams. AI has been very transformative in being able to do that. You can actually have it to where you can understand what is the risk, what's the vulnerability that poses the greatest threat, what toxic combination to my organization. And I don't necessarily need to be a cybersecurity expert to understand that because we can simplify it down and say, hey, this has a public exposure. We know it has a known exploit. We know it is connecting over to the sensitive data, and then we can present, a nice kind of visualization of that attack pathway, so that regardless if you're in GRC within your organization or within your DevOps team or within your security teams, you would be able to digest that and understand, okay, my area of responsibility is such, this is how I can have an impact on that security in my organization. So the other area I didn't talk about in Zero Trust, I'll just real briefly, is the cultural aspect. So when I've talked to CIOs and CTOs across the government over the last several years, and I say, well, what do you need from Zero Trust? Part of it's that visibility piece, but the other part, they say we have to get over the cultural barrier. We have to make it so that everyone has a stake in security. To give people a stake in security, you make it so that they can understand it. Make sure that, hey, we need to adopt AI into the environment. I may not be an AI expert. What does this mean for my organization? Being able to present them very quickly, here's AI that we've got deployed. Here's the training data that it connects to. Here are all the other systems that connect to it. Oh, look, we have this misconfiguration, or we have this CVE vulnerability on this one VM that leads a pathway to that AI. That's why we need to remediate it. Well, I don't have to be a cybersecurity expert or even a Zero Trust expert to be able to understand that impact to my organization. That's what I'm excited about. Being able to simplify information and make it work, really in a more empowered way across my entire organization, so that I can really be a lot more efficient at getting the job done that we need to do.
Absolutely. Well, Bryan Rosensteel, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to share your insights on the evolution of zero trust in the federal government.
Thank you. And like I said, always a pleasure.